Hi, it's Velia again, and this is my second attempt at making this segment of the video. YouTube's was really bad, so I'm going to attempt on a video program that I have on my computer. But, here we go. I'm going to try to make this less than 10 minutes long, too, but if I don't get everything in, of course, which I probably won't anyway, I'm going to make another video. But, the first question asked by Anonymous is, do you worship any deities? And the short answer is no. The long answer is that I am a hard polytheist, which means that I believe that each god is a person on their own, or deity on their own, and they're not simply an aspect of one larger deity. And the reason why I don't have a god right now, or am expressing any interest in having a god, is because I had god bothering a little while ago and it did not work out at all. If anything, it worked out very badly for us and made me very mad, and it's not something that I want to try again anytime soon. And a lot of gods don't seem to realize that I have to put my guides and myself and my ancestors first, and I refuse to set them aside. And when you have guides and a god in my personal theory and in my personal experiences, it's either one or the other at the time. You can't get all of them in at once, which is not something that I want. I need to be in constant communication with my guides for the most part, and while I was being god bothered, I was pretty much guide death, and I did not enjoy that period. So that's the biggest reason why. Yeah. Anonymous asks, any special rituals? Not really. I am attempting to figure out something about the graveyard in the local area that has welcomed me in and has expressed an interest in having me clean up and come to visit every once in a while. And I am trying to work something out with that. However, I don't drive. Driving frightens me very badly, and I haven't gotten my driver's license yet. So, and of course, even if I did, we only have 2 vehicles, and in reality, my fiance and I only have 1. And it just, with my fiance working pretty often, it's hard to get up there. Not to mention, I don't want to be dropped off and like sit up there for like 5 hours because it's freezing cold out here. Excuse me. And I wouldn't be out there for hours right yet anyway. But also, I don't really consider anything I do a ritual, simply because when people say rituals, I think of like numerous people, like at least 3 or 4 or 5 people all doing something within a circle, and for gods and stuff like that. And I don't do any of that, so I don't consider it a ritual. Like, that's just my personal opinion towards my own practices. If you call it a ritual, then it's a ritual, but I don't call it a ritual. Anonymous asks you, can you explain the basics of your religion? The bare bones idea of it is that I'm a necrolatrist. To expand upon that a little bit more, I do consider myself a pagan most of the time. I am kind of attempting to move away from that, but at the same time, I feel a necessity to the community to kind of clean up, because the pagan community has a lot of problems, and I kind of feel a necessity as someone who's knowledgeable about that, the problems that are going on, to aid in bettering our community. But also, I feel like if I were to leave the pagan community behind, I wouldn't have very many people to talk to anymore. Like, I mean, most of my communication consists of the pagan community, which isn't necessarily bad, but it is what it is, and I'm not going to leave behind the only community that will really have any kind of understanding about my practices. So, other than, various other communities like Spanish, Catholic, and things like those sorts of communities, because it is kind of common amongst Catholicism for ancestor worship, but I don't really, Christ and I aren't friends or anything like that, so. But to expand in reality, I worship my ancestors and my spirit guides. I do worship them, like as in, like you would do with a god. My ancestors have taken on a saint-like status, and my guides have taken a god-like status. And you have to realize that I don't attribute much power to gods in general. I feel like when prayers are answered and things like that, it is in part the God, but it's also in part the energy that's put out into the universe, and then so many people are praying for the same thing, and then it happens and things like that. Like, it's collective energy in my opinion, but like, I will never like sit there and argue with someone who says it's prayer and says it's their God, because if you believe in that God's power, then that God is very powerful. And like, who am I to say otherwise? Because honestly, I probably don't even know your God personally. But sorry, you might hear background noise because our puppy's being bad because we just got home and he's all hyperactive and stuff. But I do lay out memorials for other people, and it's not really worshiping, it's honoring. Like victims memorials, and I'll lay out something. This weekend we're attempting to lay out stuff for the in memorial of the people from around fiance's local area, because like you wouldn't, I can't even believe it. Like, over here, I mean, you get a few spirits in the woods, but it's mostly wood spirits. It's like things that are in the woods normally. Over there, it's like you go into the woods and you run into at least 10 people, and they're not all friendly. Like, they're angry about stuff, and they have every right to be, because I mean the lands over there are being mined for natural gas and oil, and everything's being torn apart, and the people in the town are like jumping for joy at this because they don't realize that, what they're giving up is a more precious thing than what they're getting. And then there's a lake that is literally, it's on top of a town. Like, there's a town underneath the lake that they just made a lake around and poured water into. Like, and those people are pissed, okay? They're fucking pissed. They hate the people around there, and there was even a murder over near that lake, and I honestly, like, I don't think that it has absolutely nothing to do with the lake. So, but we're doing that this weekend because there's been kickbacks from the energy that's being put out and from the people being angry about what's going on, and I don't want fiance or fiance's sister or fiance's grandma to get any of that lashback. So yeah, there's that. And then this is probably going to be one of the last questions in this video. Fluff Fixation asked, what's the thing you've done with your practice that you're the most proud of? My uncles, after they passed, felt the need to exclude themselves because what they did in life was looked down upon by numerous people, and I am finally able to welcome them back into the fold, and I'm also working on repairing their connection with other people in their lives that have kind of still held that grudge, which they have every right to, but of course, I'm also learning things about what happened and why everything went down that other people aren't privy to. And while having that information is a privilege, it can also be extremely overbearing, because how am I supposed to explain to my cousin that, her uncle wasn't really a bad person? He was being plagued by something that was, destroying his life for fun, and could possibly destroy hers, because that is what it does. And things like that. But I'm just happy to know them. I'm happy to really get to know them, because I was very young when they passed, and I'm happy to have them back into the family because obviously they've missed, their family members, and now that my mom's over there and my mom's sister is over there and their dad and mom are over there, they have the time and they have now the ability to connect with them again. So that's probably one of the biggest things. But alright, this video is around 10 minutes now, so I'm probably going to end this one and record a second one. But thank you guys for listening.